Yeah. I love it so much. You can go louder.
I can't.
So much, yes. All of that. Always do that dance move.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So
we're live. We're here. We're ready. It's Thursday. It's June 1st, everybody. It's June 1st. That's a thing that's happening. And holy cow, how did we get here so quickly? But not upset about it at the same time. And finally having like maybe a little bit of sunshine. I hope did you have sunshine today where you were?
I had sunshine.
Oh, it makes everything so much better when there's sunshine.
It does. And like Darude was just playing.
And you know what happens where there's sandstorms in a desert? The sun is shining. That was really that was super lame. We'll just pretend. Let's rewind and pretend that never happened.
You are on a cheesy roll, my friend.
I'm on a cheesy roll. I really am.
You really are a cheesy roll.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the cheese. I'm a big fan of dad jokes personally. A big fan. I love them.
I love you so much more now. Is that even possible?
I don't know. Okay. So let's get started.
Okay. Start. Where shall we begin, my dear? Failing gracefully. Failing gracefully is the topic for this evening.
Welcome everybody. And if you're watching the replay later, I really hope you enjoyed that Darude intro because it's the best. So tonight's episode of Conscious Living here with myself, Julia, and Deelle is going to be on failing gracefully. So I had an experience yesterday morning that inspired this talk tonight, and I'm going to share that with you shortly. But I wanted to start with kind of wrapping our heads around the idea of failing gracefully. What does that even mean? Can you do that?
How can we?
Can we do that? So I want to start with thinking about something that happens in our everyday life. And it's something that just to kind of differentiate human beings versus what we use all the time, technology, what we're using right now. And so I just want you to think about the idea of how computers or technology, or even like the way that some engineers or architects would create buildings and different way infrastructure in a city. They have built-in fail-safes so that as they are used by humans, because humans naturally err, they have natural fail-safes in them. So a good example is to think of how if you're working on a document on your computer and all of a sudden, you know, the computer shuts down or something happens and it just shuts down and you feel like you've lost everything. But then when you reload your computer and you open back the program in Microsoft Word, they actually autosave your document for you. So you can go back through and it will pick right back up on where you've left off. So computers are they have built-in mechanisms to deal with human error, which happens all the time. However, that's interesting, right? To think
I like to think of it that way, actually.
It's cool. I never even like, that just kind of came to me today when I was thinking about it. It's like, yeah, you know, like technology and like, you know, and then we can go into a whole conversation about AI and all these different really fascinating things. But, you know, that kind of eliminating that margin of error, that is just so.
Yeah. Love it.
So
that just came to you?
Yeah. I was just like reading about engineering, and I was just like, yeah, like that just makes so much sense. Like those types of things are just built in because we can think about them ahead of time, right? And build it into something that doesn't have that sort of living, breathing consciousness. Sure, it has consciousness and it's made of Mother Nature, absolutely, but it's not the same type of consciousness, right?
Yeah. Do you always read about engineering?
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Oh my God!
I love like everything. I'm just such a nerd. I read about many things, and I find that I mean, I could talk about this for days, like just going from subject to subject and being inspired by different people.
Yeah.
And actually right now, a new friend that you made too, I've been listening to her podcast, Giovanna, who we all know from Reiki as well. And she's doing an amazing podcast. And if you get to listen to some of those there, I've just been soaking up knowledge.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really cool. And so that actually leads me to another concept about failing gracefully that I would like to invite you all to think about. And it's one that I think we forget that we've all done, unless, of course, physical health has not allowed for that to happen for you. So I want you all to kind of just take a minute to kind of, maybe you can close your eyes, whatever you want to do, if that's helpful. And just kind of take a minute and think about and go back to when we were really small. And I mean like really small, like, 10 months, 11 months, 12 months, 13 months. And our bodies are starting to grow, and we're starting to become more aware of what we're capable of at this point in our lives. We've got our parents who support us and are encouraging us through unconditional love to grow and change and evolve. And naturally, our desire grows inside to start emulating that, start emulating our parents. We want to go, we want to move forward. We start looking for that sense of independence. So we start pulling ourselves up on a couch or a coffee table. We put our little hands on there and we start to pull up, and we get heavy and we fall. But then we might cry a little, but then we put our hands back up on that coffee table and we pull up again. And we do this over and over and over again. Then, we go back to crawling a little bit. And we know that works. So we do that again for a little while. And we get places. But then we try again. And maybe we pull ourselves up all the way on the couch this time. And we figure out, hey, I can stand. My muscles can support me. And then eventually, we take that first step. We take that second step, or third, fourth, fifth. And the next thing you know, we're walking. We're moving forward. We're so excited. We did it. And there's no hesitation, no resistance, no limiting beliefs telling us we can't. All we see is our parents guiding us, encouraging us, getting so excited when they see us take that first step. The next thing we know, we're taking, quicker, faster, more sturdy steps. Not even a few days later, we're running. Our bodies can hold us, can support us, can handle. Our brains are sending the signals to our feet, our calves, our thighs, our knees, our ankles, and we're going for it. We've got this. And we keep moving forward, you know, and then we grow and grow, and we're running around. We're crazy little wild animals. I know I was.
I love that.
Absolutely. And, you know, you can open your eyes now, everyone, if you've got them closed. And I wanted to invite you to wrap your head around that idea, because I think it's so important to understand how our limiting beliefs that we've gained through experience, through somebody else telling us what they think, or that it's something as a failure, or that didn't work, how there was once a time where we didn't know any of that, and that we didn't experience that sort of setback that the world can bring to us in terms of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to put out there, our efforts. There was once a time where none of that mattered. All we were going to do was we were going to walk, because we were going to go get that cookie, or we were going to go get that treat, we were going to go get that toy, we were going to go to our moms, our dads, whoever it was that took care of you at that age, because we had a desire. It was innate. It came from within, and we got it done.
Mm.
And sorry, go ahead.
I said mic drop.
Mic drop. I just want you all to know that we all still have that. Yeah. And it's just buried underneath a few 20, 30, 40, wherever you're at, years of stuff.
Damn, girl. I love that.
Yeah. So
I know it's nice to go back and put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, and that realm of absolute possibility, of that absolute limitlessness, you know, encouraged by innocence, encouraged by unconditional love, you know, of both from yourself and your caregivers, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's a cool time that is not gone. We just got to tap back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
let's dive into some personal stories about failing gracefully. So, when I am thinking about this, I would put some thought into it. And at first I was like, I can't really think of anything. And then I can remember being a track athlete. And, you know, kind of being at that level where, you know, you're super into it, but you're kind of good, but not like as good as you can be. You know, you're a little bit younger. And
right.
And I remember, you know, being from this little tiny place, and we trained on a dirt track, and we were competing against people that were on like this, like in the city, that had these nice, amazing tracks. And I got to a point where I'm like, I'm going to try out for this Nova Scotia team. And I didn't make it. Oh, yeah. And being at that age, it's kind of like an impressionable age, because it was like 13-ish, 12-ish, like that age. And that's an age that just, you know, when you feel, yeah. So when you feel embarrassed, or, you know, because in my mind, I was going to make it, and I told my family and my friends, and, you know, so sure of myself, and then to not make it and have to kind of go back with your head kind of buried in the sand and be like, oh, I didn't make it. You know, at that age, it's very common for you to kind of throw in the towel and then just never want to do it again. Just say, that's it.
Yep.
Nope, not for me. Next.
I'm not good at this.
Right. Yeah. But what happened was, and it's, I guess, a bit surprising for me, just given my personality and what I thought back then, I worked harder. I didn't give up. I said, you know what? I'm going to make that team. And I worked hard. I did what I had to do. I worked harder than I did before because last time I was just kind of going into it like, oh, I got this. I don't need to train that hard. I've already been doing track and field, right? I had that mentality. And then I was able to come away from it and be like, you know what? I didn't work as hard as I should have. I'm going to work hard this time. And then the next year, end up making it.
And you did?
Yeah.
Yay!
End up making it the next year. Right?
Yeah. Perseverance.
So it was one of those, but to say that I failed gracefully at like the moment that the failure happened, I don't think I necessarily failed gracefully because it was a lot of like emotional, like crying and just being like, you know what a 12 or 13-year-old does when they don't get their way.
Of course. Yeah.
So definitely not, I don't think failing gracefully at the moment, but definitely failing gracefully once I got out of the fog of failure, I guess you could say, then moved into looking at it as, what did I not do right here? Like what, okay, let's be honest with myself. You didn't work as hard as you should have. Yeah. Work harder the next time. Ricky says focus. Absolutely. Yeah. And I made it. And then I continued to make it for the next couple of years. So yeah, that's my personal story.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like you said, at those ages, right? It's so impressionable, and you're really beginning at that point to kind of define who you are as a human being and who as a young adult, right? So having those experiences, especially with your peers, right? It can be tough, but, with focus, with perseverance, with being honest and looking at where do I need to work harder. And once we're going to get there, we've got 5 steps to failing gracefully that maybe will be helpful next time any of you feel like something you've done or somewhere you've been or whatever situation feels like a failure, because there is no such thing. I'm just gonna make that statement right now. I'm doing it.
Thank you.
There's no such thing.
Saying it. It's true.
It's true. So it's true. A period. No such thing as failure. Period. Statement. So, so to share a personal story, like I said in the beginning, yesterday, my inspiration behind this talk, and I'm not going to say, normally I would say, believe it or not, but I'm not going to say that this time because I'm cool with the fact that it took me this long. But so I'm going to be, almost 30. I'll be 30 in August, and I have never got my driver's license. I never needed it. In high school, I had lots of friends that drove me around, and, I didn't really need it. And then I moved away in university a couple of times to bigger cities. Didn't need it there, Toronto, Ottawa, you don't need a car. And then also, as I was going through university, I lived in a city, didn't need it then. But then, come back from Vancouver, living at my parents' house. I'm like, oh my God, I need my license. This is crazy. And then moving out to Timberley here, I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but you need a car. It's a thing that is required. And so I went about this year to get my license. And I had been doing some private driving classes with an amazing guy, McKenna Driving School. If anybody has kids that are going to be doing that or anything, or doing it yourself, highly recommend them, and great prices too. But did that. Long story short, went to do my road test yesterday, and I thought, like you said, I was like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm visualizing, I'm meditating, I got this. I'm feeling the feeling, I'm feeling the pride and the excitement of me, like taking that selfie with my license, So I was Anyone thought that happened in my head, though. I kid you not. It was a real thing. And so that, I was there, and then I went and I did the test, and I did not get my license. There was no selfie. And but that being said, and for sure, there was a moment of disappointment after, we stopped the car, and he's like, okay, so we're going to talk about this. And God love him. He was a really, really nice guy. We had a great conversation at the end of it. But long story short, we chatted about each area that I needed to work on. And, getting used to being coached, that definitely gave me the opportunity to slow down, not cry, and have the conversation that I needed to have about what I needed to work on. And so, I left there and went about my day. And, as I was going through my day, I had a very busy day, and everything out, evened out and panned out at a wonderful day. But as I was coming home and I was walking I just get off the bus, 5 minutes away. I'm walking home, and I felt that disappointment and that I was hungry and tired and all the stuff. So that feeling sorry for yourself kicked in, and I got all disappointed, and I felt this tears start to come. And I said, no, just slow down here. I'm going to take a minute to look at what happened, figure out why that happened, look at the lesson, and transmute this right now. So what I started to do was I was walking out loud, started talking and making a gratitude list as I was walking. And and I'll come back to that at the end, because there's a few other parts of that story I want to talk about as we go through these five things. Okay. So let's just dive right into them. Let's go. Number 1, how do we fail gracefully? And we'll tie it all back into the personal stories.
Yeah. So number one, to take it all in and don't take it so personally. That was a big, big problem for me, is the not taking things personally. I had to work really, 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 really hard on that in particular.
Really times 10.
Yeah, definitely.
It's difficult. And I think, to your point earlier, as you were saying, you invest this and it's a personal thing. I'm Deelle the track girl and I'm going to do this. I've done track before, so you take that and you own it and you start to identify with it and attach to it. So it becomes who you are.
Right.
And when that perceived failure happens, we can't help, because we're human, but take it personally, because it's part of our identity. We've attached to it. We've created that. And so for me, in my example, I was the girl who never got her license, or woman, I'm not a girl, the woman who never got her license and is doing it at 30. And here I am not passing the test, right? So that was the way that I allowed that self-doubt or taking it personally to sneak in for me. But you got to snap out of that, right?
Yeah. Well, there's that moment where you just feel kind of, I don't want to say because it's such a harsh word, but you feel almost stupid in a sense. Like when I didn't make my track team, I was like, I just felt like, that's what I felt like.
Yeah.
At that moment, was that like that you're so harsh on yourself, right?
Yep.
Like,
man. And really, when you think about that, when you slow down to think about that, so you're taking it all in, you're like looking at the whole scenario. Okay, what happened? This, things didn't go the way I wanted it. You're looking at it all. And that's where you can automatically go. You can fall down that pit hole. And entrepreneurs, which, I'm really starting to learn about, and you've been doing that. You're in that game. You've been in that game for a little while, but so much of what you put out there is what you identify with. It's your why. Right. It's what you perceived. So when you have a perceived failure in that context, you can be totally wounded by it, right?
Mm.
But often it is that they're just other people's opinions, not yours, that create that idea of I'm so stupid or I'm a failure, right?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you.
Right. Yeah.
Try step number 1. Take it all in, look at it objectively, what actually happened, and don't take it personally. It is not about who you are or your character. It's just what happened. That's it.
And I think of that example, I know that you know about it, but when I was starting to put myself out there, like as an entrepreneur in this life coaching thing, like, you know, like you said, you identify with that. So it's something that you know, you believe in wholeheartedly and you love it and you want to help people. So you kind of put yourself out there. And then a friend of mine had actually was very not nice to me about my new adventure, right? He was he said very mean things, and then he started to kind of belittle what I was doing publicly on Facebook, and I was just like, holy moly, like took it so personally as like a personal attack against moi, right?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, it just had to take, like you said, take it all in and just understand where that person is coming from, that person just doesn't understand, and not everybody's you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You're going to be someone's cup of tea, but maybe not everybody's. Yeah. And to just see it from like a bigger perspective and understand that, you know, he just doesn't understand. And that's okay.
Absolutely. And that's his personal opinion about what it could mean to be a life coach, right? And who knows what his actual thoughts around that are. But what is important there too, and I think that as we go through these examples, it'll start to come up the same way. But we take that idea and we look at how, because everything is a reflection, right? He's a reflection of you, you're a reflection of him. So where is that happening in your life? Where is it that you're feeling hesitant about what you're doing, right? So lose that opportunity.
Yeah, and it opened that door, because that's exactly at the beginning, that's what it was. There was a lot of hesitation there. So yeah, it's exactly what it is. When you can take it all in, as we said here, and then you can definitely see it from that perspective. And I like to think of failures now. I'm doing a group coaching program, and I love this because we call it the SFMs, and they're simple, fundamental misunderstandings.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, SFMs.
Cool.
It's just an SFM.
Cool. But you know, absolutely foundationally, and you can foundation. So thinking, going within, like, where's this understanding happening here, right? It's an opportunity, and what will come down to at the end, it's an opportunity to see your weaknesses, right? And not in a bad way, in a way where you get to strengthen things.
Right. Okay. And that just makes it kind of, just a little bit more less serious, a more playful way of looking at it.
I know. I love that. Yay. Which makes so much sense if you're doing that program. Playful. Okay, so let's go to number 2. So we have number 1, take it all in, don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Number 2, ask why. So when you're doing that objective, taking it all in, the next piece is why. And these can all happen in a very quick sort of succession, which is what happened with me in that moment where I'm having that conversation with the driving instructor, the tester. That's not a word, is it?
What?
The tester?
I think so.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. Let's go with it.
Examiner. That's the right word. There we go. So as this is all happening very, like, this is really cool because I was able to go through these steps in the moment, which is where that's where you get to transmute things, right? That's wisdom equals transmutation. So asking why. So what went wrong? Where did it go wrong? Like, what went wrong, right? Just didn't work out the way you planned. Did you get out what you put in? And this comes right back to you know what? I'm a track star. I'm going to just do it and I'm going to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be a piece of cake.
Yeah, piece of cake.
And yeah, definitely. And, like I said earlier, and how you described, it happened and then you kind of went about your day because it was busy, but then all of a sudden you got kind of in that cloudy, like the reality of it, right? The cloudiness of it. And that's really what happened to me too, right? It's like you have to go through that emotional moment of failure, right? Because it hurts and it's okay to feel like a little teary-eyed and like have a moment.
Be disappointed.
Yeah, totally disappointing. And then you that's when, once you kind of get over that and you give yourself a little bit of space from that, then you allow yourself to be honest with yourself. So then you can start going, okay, well, where can I improve? What didn't I do right here? What can I do next time? Right? Those types of things. So
absolutely. Absolutely. And, for me and my experience yesterday, did I get out what I put in? Absolutely. I had spent a considerable amount of time practicing behind the car with friends and my parents. So they were telling me how to drive. I could drive the car, absolutely handle things fine, understand I got to look and I'm doing all the stuff. However, what the examiner explained to me was it's applying the rules of the road to your driving. So once I got in a position where I didn't have that guidance, I wasn't able to rely on myself to be able to do it. So it didn't come automatically. So did I get what I put in? Absolutely. Because I didn't spend enough time cultivating that confidence in myself to be able to just move with the vehicle, hand, mind, body. I was overthinking everything.
Right. So, and to take ownership of that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I think of Deelle, years ago, or not that long ago, Deelle would have blamed everyone else on that.
Yeah.
Right? But the reality is you have to take ownership of, it's your life, it's your moment, it's, up to you to do what you need to do. And when it doesn't go the way that you think it's going to, then just take ownership of that.
Yeah. Because and that's it. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. And that's where we always come back to in our conversations, is that we create everything, right? That way that test went out was a complete reflection of my inner world of driving and my world that I put into it. And it was a direct reflection. So understanding that I create that and being able to own it that way allows me now to create the room to move to the next step.
We sang.
Number 3, make the change and make it quickly. Quickly.
Get going, you.
Yes. Get going. So, which means I'm going to book my next road test as soon as I'm able, which means I'm going away to New Brunswick tomorrow with my sisters because my sister's going wedding dress shopping and I get to go. I know, it's so exciting. Yes, I'm maid of honor. Right. Sorry. Just a little personal moment there, but I'm going to drive home. So I'm going to drive home with my mom and I'm going to drive the whole 2.5 hours. So it's right away, get back on the bike, get back behind the wheel, do what you have to do, understand what went wrong and go try again. Because the sooner that you can neutralize that fear or that disappointment or however it is, the less time that you have floundering in the hole of failure.
Yeah, you don't want to stay there.
No.
Definitely don't want to be there. Like I said, it's okay to kind of wallow a little bit in that moment, but then, as soon as you can get back on the horse, get riding.
Get back riding. And, to just I forgot, I didn't even mention this, but after our conversation, me and the examiner, and he was explaining to me how everything went, and the last part of the driver's test now is you need to back into a parking spot, and I'm just being real vulnerable and honest. I hit the curb like this much when I did it. Like it was like the like this, like there was no, but it was enough to be like, you just killed a person, because that's what they think, right? You just hit that 5-year-old kid that like is walking behind the car, and you didn't. So, but like, yeah, right. Like it's a legit thing. And when you're giving somebody their license, for sure.
Yeah.
So I messed up the parking job, and to the point of make the change and make it quickly, I asked the guy after, he's like, so, done conversation, do you have any questions, kind of thing? And I was like, no, thank you. Like, you explained everything, but can I fix this parking job? And he was like, really? You want to fix it? And I was like, yeah, I would really like to, if that's okay. And he put his seatbelt back on. I fixed the parking job, parked perfectly after, and he looked at me and said, that was perfect. It's like, you will get your license. I just can't give it to you today.
Right.
And I was like,
oh, see?
Thank you. Yeah. But that's just to that point, right? Like, you got to do it. You just got to get back on that horse.
Right. And like, that kind of brings us to the next one, like the find the lesson, right? Yeah. So when I'm thinking about you in that moment, I'm kind of like, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise in a sense, because, you went into it being like nervous because you've never done that before, like this type of test. And now you kind of know what to expect the next time.
Oh man, I'm like so good.
Right?
I'm so going to crush this next time. And because I'm going to have some time to practice, but yeah, absolutely.
Because that fear of the unknown at first, and now that you've gone through it, you're like, okay, you kind of know what to expect. So there'll be nerves, obviously, but the nerves won't maybe take as over as they did.
Yeah.
In this, right?
Yeah. Like if they were at an 80 to 90 right at this last time, they're probably going to be at that 40, 45 mark this time. Like they'll cut right down in half. I know they will, because like you said, I've done it before. So number one, I'm like totally blanking on it right now.
You mean like take it all in?
Take it all in. Don't take it personally. Number two, ask why. Take a good inventory of what happened there. Number three, make the change, make it quickly, which leads us to number four, find the lesson.
Find the lesson.
Find a lesson. And when you go back and you think about your track experience and even the coaching experience, how many lessons were you able to find in those experiences?
Yeah. So many. I mean, and just, I'll probably get to this point in the next one too, but just finding kind of the right people as well. To help in those areas. That would kind of be more in the next one. But yeah, there's so many lessons to learn. And I think it's so valuable to fail as well, like to feel that emotion, to like, because when you think about it now, I don't know if you know anything about like sports now or schools now, like you don't fail.
Yeah,
right.
Everybody gets a participation award, right?
Right, like everybody wins. It's the day of champions. We can't choose a winner. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, no. And for me, coming from such a huge sports background, and to know the value and all the lessons that comes with the failure, and then how sweet winning is after the failure. It's just like people not being able to experience that, or just it's totally missing a very, very valuable part of human existence, if you ask me. And it's I'm just not down with that. The failure has to be there.
Yeah, and I think you're not the only parent that has said that in in those thoughts, that the idea that you don't need to be, there doesn't need to be a miserable part to it where it needs to be mean or anything like that, but there is a component and a valuable lesson in failing and learning in failing, and learning to take that next step and learn what you need to work on and what you need to focus back on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and for me, the biggest lesson that I took away from that experience yesterday was that I was not prepared, and to be able to admit that, but also the fact that, I was terrified to do it and I did it anyway. So even the lesson in I am still going to try, and even if I fail, that's okay. I'm still going to try. So the value in that accomplishment is, I think, what you're talking about there with young kids, right? That's still getting up to try and still participating, even though you didn't win. Right?
Yeah.
It's really important, because then you get balance, right? Good, bad, negative, positive, winning, losing. There's balance in it all. We do all of that in our lives, right? There's any given situation, we'll have a balance of both. And so in life, we win and lose all the time. So to get good at failing, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you own your own business, especially if you're any kind of person that depends on your own will to get further in life and grow. I mean, you can definitely choose not to do that. That's a thing. But choose.
Yeah, it's like yin and yang, right?
Yeah.
Like you need the two of them.
Yeah.
You need
they
the
don't
failure
exist without each other.
Exactly. All right.
So we found the lesson, and what's our final and fifth?
Oh yeah, there was one thing that I was going to mention. I'm sorry. There was one thing I was going to mention before we moved on to that one. The find the lesson, because there's something that I read the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, that just makes so much sense. And this is why failure is so important and provides so much value for people's lives, because it said people learn more from an alcoholic who became sober than from a person who just studied alcoholism. Right?
I love that.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. So if you don't fail and learn you're going to learn way more from someone in business, for example, who's failed. Like you hear about all, I was even reading something the other day about all the people that had failed in business, like Oprah and
all of those big guys. They all have a failure
the
story.
McDonald's guy and the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy, the Colonel. You know what I mean? Like they had failed, and people just put them down and didn't want to have anything to do with their stuff, and then they kept going, and then all of a sudden, right? So, but I loved that. So people learn more from the alcoholic who became sober than from the person who studied alcoholism. Think about that.
I love that. I'm so glad that you said that. I'm probably going to think about that for a long time. I think that's really important. There's so much value to the experience, right?
Yeah. So much, right? Like, yes.
So, fifth and final step to failing gracefully is allow for the grace to come in. Allow for that moment of grace where you can be cool with the fact that you're a human being, and that there is what we just talked about, negative and positive, winning and losing experience and life that you're living at that moment of failure. And just as I was just saying, that experience, now that I've gone through that, oh man, like driving is going to be a whole different thing for me now. So, there is so much value in being able to find the grace and find the gratitude in that experience. So when I was finally able to, I'm walking home and I'm kind of like half crying, but I'm making my list though, through the tears. I'm making my list, I'm so grateful that I had the people to help me in practice. I'm so grateful that I had, all my family and friends supporting me, telling me good luck. And, and when I delivered the news, they're like, yeah, you'll get it next time. And just have this amazing support network,
Yeah.
Knowing that I was coming home to Ricky, a partner that was going to support me and tell me everything was okay when I got in the door. He even made supper. I mean, those types of things, like knowing all of those, coming home to our beautiful home and, all of the weekend that I have ahead of me. So really cultivating that attitude and presence of gratitude lifted me right out of that place.
Absolutely. I love that. And I also think it's important to, it's like when you were thinking about like all the people that helped you like during this whole process, it's even important too to kind of think and be okay with maybe asking for help from maybe another type of mentor or friend or family, right? Like maybe you can get more value. So just being like asking gracefully, right? Ask somebody maybe for help or
I love that.
Yeah, that just came to me.
Very good. Very good. You're on fire. That's not even cheesy. It's not even cheesy. You had the alcoholic quote and the asking gracefully. It's like, man, that's like legit. I love it. I love it.
So good. Yeah.
Because then you're looking outside of like where I didn't look before and where can I learn more and who can actually teach me to do this in a way that I expand from that previous experience. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I also like to think about too is just, kind of changing the perspective about failing in the sense, like I like to think of people that get fired from their job.
Mm-hmm.
And, as like devastating as that can be in the moment, if you change the perspective, well, now that opens just another door for me to maybe do what I love or to find another job that I like better. Or now I have all these tools and stuff that I've learned in this job that I can take to a new job, right? Like it's totally changing the perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's super important too.
It's super important. And even like you said, failing that job, failed relationships, right? It's like you're moving on to, it's always this or something better, right? When you can accept that gracefully and move forward and look at the lessons and all of the amazing stuff that's coming out of it, you're always going to set yourself up for an even better situation, right? There's always something else coming, opening up, making room for it to be even better than it was before. I love that you said that. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that you're going to go and get your license.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it. So I just got to send the guy the road test receipt and he'll book it again for me as soon as we can, and I'm going to do it. So
nice.
I'll keep you guys posted. So
I'm waiting for that selfie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
License selfie.
Right. Boom. Got it. So all this to say to like kind of to wrap this up here. So we got number 1, take it all in. Don't take it personally. Number 2, look at why, what actually happened. Number 3, oh God, what is
Make the change.
Make it quickly. Yes. Thank you. Number 4 is
find the lesson.
Number 5,
allow grace.
Yeah.
Allow grace.
I love it. So it's the best.
Or ask gracefully.
For learn, expand more. Absolutely. Ask gracefully. So it's really about developing a new belief and a new habit about learning to see your failures as strength. Right? As a way to drive yourself forward and push forward and illuminate what needs work. It's like a really effective tool that you can use.
Yeah, it's a positive thing.
It's a positive thing.
It's a negative situation maybe, but it has so much positivity in it. Like it just has to be flipped around.
It's like a little gift of love wrapped up in some really ugly wrapping paper. That's it.
Ah, it's
true. Yeah, exactly. So, and I think it's really important too that, like, because we are human and we have a choice always with that, and that choice of how you perceive and use your failures is definitely one of those things that defines you as a person. It defines your character. It defines your ability to rise up and move forward and take control of your life and make those choices.
Exactly. Like, just don't be so damn serious about it.
Right? Nobody's getting out of life alive, so you don't have to take it so seriously, right? Like, that's that quote. I love that.
Yeah. So here's another example of failing gracefully. So doing a live video in my group the other day, just talking like this, the backdrop here fell over.
Oh no.
And, old Deelle would have been like, oh, so embarrassed. So embarrassed.
My life.
We laughed so hard, and I just left it like that for the rest of the rest of the video. It's like half hour with pretty background, half hour with half background falling over with crappy office in the background. Yeah, so honestly, it was funny. And a lot of these situations, we can just not be so serious about it. Don't be so uptight.
And like, you're going to save friggin' years on your life if you do that, right? Like, the more that, because what ends up happening, and why I mentioned that, is because when we take those failures on and we hold on to the part where we allow it to take it personally, we take that in and we push it inside of us and we keep it inside of us instead of transmuting it right in the moment with that wisdom. 5 steps, boom, boom, boom. Find out why, make a change quickly, learn the lesson, go right to gratitude, right? We can do that. And when we avoid and we take it personally, we own it, we hold it in, that's when we trap those energies. That's when we create illness. And even if it doesn't manifest in some sort of like a cold or physical illness or whatever, it manifests into dis-ease. Right? Like, it's just it's stress. It's, cortisol is all firing up. We're creating blah inside of us. So
I love that example.
Yeah. Creating blah. Yeah. But I mean, like, really though, like, you can just think of a big globby, ooby, gooby, yuckiness inside that doesn't need to be there when you have the opportunity to actually make your life better because you are failing gracefully.
Totally. Yeah. And I just pulled an angel card.
Let's see it.
I pulled it from this deck.
Angel Answers. All right.
Love this one so much.
It's a good one.
You're not going to believe it.
Oh.
Wait a second. Wait.
Oh, God. Ask for help from others. You can't make this stuff up! That's awesome.
You can't. So let's see what it says. All right. So it says, it's not necessary to do everything on your own. Your angels are asking you to reach out to those around you for assistance. By allowing others to lend a hand, you greatly increase your chances for success, and your plans will begin to move forward. Sorry, that's a period there. I was supposed to stop the sentence. The help you receive may also include important information provided by knowledgeable individuals. The stress of doing too much can create both physical and emotional health challenges for you. Surround yourself with loving... I know, it's crazy. Surround yourself with loving friends and family who are willing and able to lighten your load, and you will begin to feel much better.
I love it.
Like what?
So we have the angels on, like, they got our backs here with this message, guys. Like, they're just saying, you can do it.
They're telling us to, like, smarten the fuck up. Mark the fuck up. And on that,
and give it a big hug and say, it's okay that you have an ugly wrapping paper. I love you anyway. And I am going to give this gift with all of my heart and take it and run with it. Amazing. So I actually, can I play the outro? Because I think I can be louder. Now I don't know if you guys watched us last week, but we've started a new thing along with the angel cards, and we're gonna get there. But thank you all for coming out, and if you are watching the replay, please ask questions because we're always available to answer them. If you've got any questions you think we're full of crap, or you're like, yes, put it in there. Let us know because we just love having conversations. That's what we do here at Elevated. We have conversations, we expand, we grow, we elevate.
This is me elevating you.
I love it.
Sang twice on here tonight. We have to go. This is terrible.
I know we're getting like we're taking off from dad joke region to like I don't even know like just like lame 14-year-old girl jokes like so thank you all again for coming and watching.
And
anything else, any questions, whatever you got for us, we'd love to see it. And after I will maybe we'll put in those 5 steps. Is that cool, Deelle? Can we do that?
Above the video. Yeah, we'll put the 5 steps so you can just refer back to them. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. We're failing gracefully right now with the jokes.
Wait, it's coming. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
So good. This is what you gotta put on when you fail. Just dance to this. You can't not be happy. Okay. We can play it for the last 3 minutes. Like, I'm down. This song is like 3 minutes long. You guys can see the really cool video.
The video's the coolest.
Running away from failure.
It's so
Okay. Never stop. It's never. Again, another dad joke.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for dealing with us, crazy people. I appreciate it.
We do. We're just nuts. We're just nuts.
Right? All right, guys.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. And we'll see you next week.
See you later.